Hey everyone. So I had to run off earlier when I was doing my live at the cliff. There are some things that I wanted to talk about that I didn't quite get into. But one of the things that I really wanted to talk about was like the power of imagination. And I have been holding it for weeks saying, okay, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about it. But, I was just going through a moment where I really needed time to myself, like to have inner self, to have inner healing, inner conversation, inner direction on the way in which I would like things to go. Because for the past 4 years, from the time I have been in Tanzania, I have just been doing and doing and doing. And I was more reactionary rather than, deliberate, right? There is a very big difference to being reactionary, meaning as situations arise, you react to them rather than making plans and being deliberate about your plans. And when you find yourself in cycles like that, it's very hard to come off. And so for the time from the time I have been in Tanzania, and it's not about Tanzania and it's not about Africa, it's none of those things. Okay, it really has more to do with COVID and where the world was, right? Is we all went through this experience of reacting like, okay, overnight jobs were shut down, businesses were shut down, everything was shut down, and we all had to react to that. Okay. We all had to figure out a new normal, and there was no real new normal after that whole situation. So, like just in all the honesty of living and breathing and surviving on this planet, we have all been reactionary to everything that has happened in the past 3, 4 years. Okay. Myself personally, I was in a cycle of reacting. Okay. So something happened, COVID happened, and I reacted to COVID. I ran to be with some family. Something happened there. I reacted. I ran to be in Tanzania and said, okay, I'm going to be at peace here. I'm going to settle here. I'm going to live here. I'm going to chill here. I found this abandoned house and I reacted to finding that house, signing the lease, starting the construction. That took me 9 months. Then I found the sea moss at the beach. I reacted to that. I started a company, went and got all the documentation and the paperwork and everything that came along with it. I reacted to that. People partnered with me. I reacted to that by working and working and working, above and beyond, uh, out of my norm. And, I never got to execute on some of the plans that I had in my heart, that I had in my mind, that I had to do. And I just needed to take myself out of that cycle of reacting. I have ran 3 construction projects since I have been here. That is not normal for a single mom living in a foreign country where she doesn't speak the language. There's a lot of cortisol and a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety and a lot of, am I doing the right thing? It could be overwhelming. Okay. But for people like me who, I wouldn't use the word high performer. What I would use is a habitual, um, a habitual ADHD professional, meaning like some people who can operate on, alcohol, and they're just like, oh, that's their norm, or they're on something else. That my norm is adrenaline. Okay. And so I needed to take myself off of that, because going through all of the cycles and all of the patterns that I went through, of just doing and reacting, COVID, construction, all of this stuff. Jojo, I'm on reaction mode or survival mode, but I guess reaction is survival mode. And I needed to take myself off of that, because when I went to the hospital, I was like, damn, I didn't come all the way to Tanzania. I didn't come to Africa to live and die, like this. So I made a decision that I'm going to, I needed to take a breath to see where exactly, how can I recalibrate my life on my terms to live how in a more proactive rather than a reactionary life. How can I plan this out properly? And yes, no one waits for you as you plan things properly, but I could not continue to drill myself down into the ground the way I was doing. So I needed to take a couple of steps back and plot and plan and work it out and make it make sense. The seaweed business is difficult. It is not easy. It's not one of the easiest things you can get involved in, depending on the level that you're in. The level that I am in the seaweed industry, is we're signatories to the United Nations Social Development Goals. We're partners with the World Wildlife Fund. We're partners with the key components that makes a seaweed industry grow, okay? Not a business, the industry. So in the position that I find myself in was I cannot, or I could not, or I was not pushed into a position where I am competing with the farmers, because now the farmers can go anywhere and sell whatever they want for whatever price they want. When I am in seaweed and have to pony up money to get my residency, to get all of my paperwork, to file my documentation, to do all of that stuff just to compete at the level of a smallholder farmer, it does not work. So I had to recalibrate and readjust and realign exactly what that looks like. Okay, so the partners that I am involved in the seaweed industry have a long view. They understand who does what, where, the best, and how, and what role they would like for our company to play. So I had to recalibrate and reorganize and look at things properly. Okay, but I wanted to talk about imagination. And the reason why I wanted to talk about imagination so much is because people always talk about, life and death is in the tongue. Like, you speak things into being and it shall be. No, that is not true. You imagine things first. You imagine things into being. You first put the picture in your mind so that it can come into your mouth, so that that life, you can speak into it. If you imagine something negative happening in your life, or something negative, attacking you or whatever, and you speak on that, those are the things that manifest themselves. Those are 3 layers of things I just told you about: imagination, speech, and manifestation. Those things are they're intangible, but I guarantee you that is the source and the root of tangibility. Okay? Nothing that you can see around you did not come from thin air. It came from first the human mind. Whether you're on this phone, someone imagined that. Then they wrote it down. Then they created a plan for how it would work. Then they got it to work. Then they went and they did a patent for it. And they decided that this is how it's going to work. Okay? So you have to first use your imagination. So if you are thinking of moving to somewhere, okay, and the reason why I'm up here talking to you at almost 2:30 a.m. Tanzanian time is because I understand, or I was given a vision that I needed to talk to some people about this thing. But I personally understand that in order for you to do anything, have anything, achieve anything, or move yourself from point A to point B, it is none of your business to decide how much you don't have, how much you do have. It is only your business to imagine it. And this is why prayer is important. If you are feeling or decided or want to do something, no matter how much you imagine it, it doesn't come to fruition until you start speaking it, until you start talking to God about your ideas, your plans, whether that's a mental thing in meditation or a speaking thing through your prayer. Okay, no one can stop you from imagining. Use it as liberally as you like. In 2001, I'm going to give you an example. In 2001, I was working in the travel industry and 9/11 happened. When 9/11 happened, everybody stopped taking planes. Everyone was now taking trains. So I imagined for myself continuing to work in the travel industry. Everyone said travel was dead. I imagined continuing to work in the travel industry, and I imagined for myself living in South Florida. Everybody said you wanted to live in South Florida, you got to speak Spanish, you got to be in Spanish, you got to da 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 da. I went down there 3 or 4 times trying to figure out how was I going to get from New York, because after 9/11 I just couldn't be there anymore. It was just wild. Everything was going up, and I had a natural fear in my head, like I can't live there anymore, because I didn't want to, I have my own experience with 9/11. I just didn't want to be there anymore. So anyway, I imagined for myself that I was living in South Florida. I imagined for myself that I was going to continue to work in travel. I imagined my apartment. I imagined the car I would drive, and I imagined where I would live. Those things I brought into my imagination. I saw a job opportunity from New York, and I didn't live in Florida. And I applied to the job anyway. And I knew they were going to hire me. I told myself, these people are going to hire me. I have the experience, I have the background, I have the knowledge, I have the know-how. There is no reason why they wouldn't hire me. I didn't think that I don't speak Spanish. I didn't think that I was a Black woman. I thought none of those things. I thought they're going to hire me. So what did I do? I quit my job on Lexington Avenue. I pack up the whole of my something them people. I had a moving company pack up my stuff. I quit a stable job, a tangible, I know I have this job. I know where the money is coming from. I know how I'm going to eat. A sure thing for an intangible thing that I could not see, that I didn't even hear a response on. I didn't pack up my things and pack my suitcase and run to Florida. I packed my whole house. I found a moving company that came and took my things into storage. They packed them up, put my things into storage, and I went to South Florida. And I didn't know where I was going to live, and I didn't know where I was going to stay. I had enough money to get me through 1 month. And I decided that in that month, I was going to get that job. So after this moving company took my things, put them in storage, I got on a plane, went to South Florida, had nothing tangible, had a few pennies in my pocket, and I called the person who I had applied to. I called the company, and they relayed me to the person, and I said, "Hi, when I applied for the job, I was in New York. I am now in Florida. I am now in South Florida. I would like to schedule an interview. Is it possible? They said, can you come tomorrow? This particular company was very discerning. I went the next day, I did the interview, and I did not get an immediate answer on the spot. They called me again for a second interview on day 2. On the second interview, they asked me about my salary. Once a company starts asking about your salary, pretty much it means that they're considering you for the job. And I negotiated the shirt off of them. Mind you, I don't live nowhere. I don't have no car. I don't speak Spanish. I'm a Black woman. I have all the things that anybody could tangibly look at and say, you're nuts. How dare you negotiate with these people? You're all the way down here, far away from any support system. How dare you negotiate your worth? What are you worth? You're worth nothing. You don't have a car. You don't live here. You don't even have a driver's license. Oh, I forgot that part. I didn't even have a driver's license when I moved to South Florida. And everyone told me I was absolutely nuts. And I said, yes, I am. I negotiated the shirt off of them. I negotiated my worth. I negotiated my value. I negotiated my education. I negotiated my experience. I was one of the top paid people in that department. Whenever anyone would raise a conversation about, oh, well, this job doesn't pay too much, I shut my mouth, because the job paid what I needed it to pay, because I negotiated that job from a sofa. I negotiated that job from no shelter. I asked for what I needed. I imagined myself working at that company, and that is what I had to do. I could not afford for student loans and all of the things that come along with job. Nobody got me but me. So I was not in the position to let them play me and let all my money go to taxes. I needed to bring in X amount of money in order to do that particular job. I negotiated it, and they made me wait. They made me wait another week. Now that week, I could have, oh, am I going to get the job? What am I going to do? No, in that week, do you know what Renee did in that week? In that week, oh God, I was ballsy. I was about 22 or 23. I was gritty. I was ballsy. You know what Renee did? Renee went and looked for apartments. I did not have a confirmation like, oh, we accept you. Here's your offer letter. I went apartment hunting to try to figure out, where am I going to live? How much rent? How much is rent? All of that good stuff. Okay, I went to find apartments. And I found the apartment that I wanted before finding the job. Okay? Well, I'm sorry, before getting the job. While I was looking for the apartment, and I decided that this is the apartment that I want. This is the place that I'm going to live. Number one, it has a bus that went all the way from North Miami Beach to Miami Lakes. Okay? Unheard of. South Florida is not known for its public transportation system. Unheard of. And I found an apartment that was half of my rent in New York. And I said, yes, I want it. I want this apartment. While I was hunting for, got the job offer. I had to rush back over there to get the offer letter to take it to the landlord. Okay, so that's another lesson. If you don't jump, if you don't make the leap, no, faith isn't going to help you from the couch. It's not going to help you from the couch. You have to use your imagination and start actively, physically doing things towards the goal that you are seeking to obtain. It's not going to happen just by wishing and just by praying. You have to physically do things to manifest that thing towards you. It has to, that is just the order of things. Okay? If you want a car, if you want a particular car, look at that car, go test drive the car, window shop the car, just do something active, or at least get a driver's license. Do something more than what I did. I didn't have no driver's license. Okay? But I'm talking about living in some South Florida. So I found an apartment. Then I got the job. And on the first day, you had to listen to other people. You had to sit in with other people. And on the first day, I looked out the window. Less than a month ago, when I looked out my window in New York City, I saw snow. I saw nothing but glass and snow and concrete, and just like nothing that spoke to my heart. I need nature, I need green, I need grass, I need dirt. And I saw nothing that spoke to my heart out that window. And I looked out in the same view, looking to my left, I looked out that window and I saw palm trees and I saw green grass, and there were cows in the field across from the American Express building. And that is when I said it to myself, that you are the one who imagined it. I said, I did it. I did it. What are you going to do with your imagination? Because we are all given the same gifts, the same powers are all inside of us. We're all reflections of God. What are you going to do with your imagination? What are you going to do with your dreams? What are you going to manifest and bring into the world with your ideas? Do they just sit in on the shelf, or do they just sit in your mind? No one did that for me. I didn't want anyone to do it for me. I didn't want to move to Florida because of a man, because if the relationship failed, Florida would have failed. I wanted to move for me because I needed sunshine and trees, and I really didn't feel like moving to California. I did it for me. I put it in my mind that I wanted to live in a place that spoke to me in a more natural way. And that's what I did. So I'm asking you, what are you going to do with your imagination? And that's one example. And the second example is definitely this place right here. Is this right here in Tanzania. Go back in these videos. When I was making those recordings from the airport, I said, I didn't know what was here for me. I didn't particularly care what was going to go down. I knew as long as I am on the journey, it was going to be a massive step. Because once you exercise certain kinds of faith in yourself, it's like a muscle that continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So there's nothing that you can't do. There's nowhere that you can't go. There's nothing that you can't have. Okay? There's nothing, but you have to make a choice. You have to make a decision of the things that you want and how you're going to accomplish those things. Okay? You have to pour enough into yourself that you can say, yes, I can do that. And you have to build that confidence in yourself to say, yes, I can do that. I will do that. I will make that happen. I'm going to find a way, make a way. Okay? If you're a scrapper, if you're a person who know how to cook, as I'm saying in Jamaica, Tonya and make fashion, right? If you know how to do any little thing, you take one little thing, one little seed, and use that as an exercise towards your faith. Okay, there has to be a point in time where you say, thank you, sister love. Yeah, there has to be a point in time in your life where you have to say enough, enough, enough. But also, I wanted to share with you in this conversation of imagination that I'm talking to you about. I also want to share with you that you are the deciding factor. You are the person who says enough. You are the person who says, I cannot accept this anymore. I am one of God's creations. I am a child of God. He created me for a purpose. He formed me in my mother's womb. He gave me eyes to see, ears to hear, a tongue to speak, feet to walk, and a mind to think. Any of those things could have gone wrong at any time in my formation, but it did not. And through that, you use those gifts. Those are the truest and greatest gifts, because if you have all of your capacity and you're not going at 100, look at the people who have one arm and they're going at 120 because they don't have two arms. So they have to do everything they possibly can do to try to catch up. Look at the people who are born blind playing music, but yet we have eyes and we have all our fingers and toes, and we're not applying to the best and not using all of our powers. So if you have to reach for some energy, reach inside of you. You're a child of God. You're a creation of God. You're formed for a purpose and a reason. You are not here to be trampled on. You're not here to be abused. You're not here to be taken advantage of. You're not here to be victimized. You're not here to be confused. You're not here to be stupid, feel stupid, act stupid, and let people turn you in an idiot. You're not here for none of that. You are here to reflect God. That is who you are. The Bible says you are God. Ye are gods, not like gods. It says you are God. I read Psalms, I think, 82 or 81, one of them. Go read it. Read all the 80 Psalms until you hit the one that I'm talking about, because I don't remember them all out of my head. But that's what it says. You are God. You are a reflection of God. So there is no way in under the sun that you, a creation, a reflection of God, cannot imagine for yourself a life that you want. And don't be ashamed if that life is supposed to be in Spain or in Africa or whatever it is that you imagine in your mind. That is your imagination. That is your reflection of God. But faith without works is dead. You cannot have faith. Okay, faith is a substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. But without works, it is dead. Words without works is dead. You cannot have faith and pray and do not work towards what you want, and then it not manifest itself. It is impossible. It does not work that way. Google words without works. So when people tell you, oh, God bless you and this and that, where is the works? This is why I'm always talking about work. I'm not talking about work because I want to reflect some time on the plantation, or I want to show everybody I'm a hard worker. No, I am exercising the faith. I'm exercising faith in my vision. I have a vision. I have a vision. When I came here, I had a vision. When I saw this house, I had a vision. I had to look past what it was. I look back on these pictures and these videos of what this place was. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I wasn't. I was faithing. That's what I was doing. I was faithing. Not faithing. F-A-A, that's my word. I was faithing. I was exercising faith, because you have to use your imagination. You have to have that inner image in yourself to see something, not for what it is, but what it can be. Okay? Not for what it is, but what it can become if you do the work to make it become. Now, there are many other things I could have done with the resources that I had. There are many other things that I could have done that this could have failed. It could have failed. It could have failed so many times. It could have failed because I hit my toe so many times. Number one, with the contractor. The more money I gave him, the less work he did. So I had to tell him to go. Meanwhile, I'm in film school. I have JoJo full time. I have the men who are on the site doing the work. How am I going to manage a construction project, a kid being in a foreign country, and all of this stuff? I realized that this man was a liability rather than an asset. I had to let him go because there's no way I'm going to start something and not finish it. There's no way I'm going to see in my mind what this can become, and then it doesn't become because of some fool. You understand? So you have to have in your mind something so strong that nothing, no lack of money, no lack of funds, no lack of support, nobody is behind you, you already failed, you made a couple of mistakes, people took advantage of you, all of that. You have to be in a place where none of that matters. It does not matter. What matters is who you are. Do you respect yourself? Do you respect your words that you say? Do you do the work behind the words that you say? Now, it isn't always going to come out, but if you stop working towards it, I promise you it will never come out. And it's better it takes a long time to come out and come out well and enduring than you would, oh, I want everything come out and you burn up in the process. Okay? Have you, no, Jamaican people will know what I'm talking about. Some hot girl. You have some people who are hot, them hot, right? Hot girl and hot boy and them dress and them style and this and then them style out, okay? And them, they're the hot thing for the summer, and then you never see or hear about them again. Hype girl, hype man, them hype people there. Those are one of the things I ran up the opposite direction away from as a young person, because whatever it is that I want it enduring, okay? But you know, some people don't necessarily think that way. They think in the terms of hype. They think in the terms of like, this year, this summer, my at ya know, my at gal, watch how my dress up. I could have easily dressed up. I could have easily driven a really nice car. I could have easily done some dumb things when I got here. But I had a long view and a long plan. Oh, the Tanzanians don't like us and the Tanzanian government. That has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with the price of rice between tea and sugar in China. None of those things have anything to do with me. As far as I'm concerned, Tanzanian people have the same challenges as everybody else in the world. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, you know, Tanzanian people, you respect them, they respect you. They treat you nice, you treat them nice. Yeah, you have some bad apples, but hey, you have bad apples everywhere you go. It's how you handle yourself. It's about you. It comes right back around to you. Okay, somebody took advantage of you. Okay, is that the whole country? Is that the rest of the whole much millions of people? People take advantage of me all the time. Some people I let take advantage of me, and they think, oh yeah, she don't see what I'm doing. No, I see you, but I have a goal. I have something that I need to accomplish, and I need to go through you to accomplish that thing. And when that thing is accomplished, we go our separate ways. I understand, but I'm not going to turn over. I'm not going to be like the cow that gives you a bucket of milk and then kick it over. I understand where I need to go. So if I need to do what I need to do, even though you think I'm stupid and you think I'm a fool and you think you can take advantage of me and yeah, I know exactly where I need to go. Maybe you hold a key and I'm just going to let you turn that key in that lock. Okay? And you can think anything you want of me. You can think I'm stupid. You can think I'm dumb. You can think I'm crazy. You can think I'm a lunatic, and you can play me all day long. But I see you. Okay? So that's a lesson of patience. Because when I came to Tanzania, there was nobody here waiting for me at the airport. There was no man waiting to pick up my bags. There was no man in online. There was no one. No one was here. And people up to this day are people are messaging each other. Were you in Tanzania first? Did she come to you? Or were you the one who helped her? No, no, I helped myself. Yes, Plunge is a fight back. Yes, mama, fight back, fight back. And that's the thing. That's the thing is like there is an energy that people believe that when you kick a woman, she's supposed to go into the corner and cry. Okay, and my belief is, if you're going to kick me, you just kicked yourself. I'm not crying by myself. No, sir. If there will be tears, we are both crying. If there is going to be pain, we're both feeling it. There's no way I'm going to carry the burden of your attack on me by myself. You want violence, I will protect myself. So do not be afraid of anybody who wants to do any harm to you. The Bible says, fret not thyself because of evildoers. Okay? Or be not envious of the workers of iniquity, because give them a little time and they'll be like a chaff that the wind blows away. People talking, oh, witchcraft in Africa, and they're serious about witchcraft. Yes, that is a fact and a reality and truth. But there is no witchcraft. No one can access any power. No one can summon any demon. No one can access anything greater than great God, who made heaven and earth and give all the fish life, and give all human life, and give all of us sun. And no matter what the creature, however big or small, God provides their food and a place for them to live. No one can access any witchcraft more power than great God himself, the creator of all humanity. So don't afraid of nobody, and whoever blow them one throw, make them throw it, because them only gonna catch it themselves. You understand? Clean hands. This is why when anybody sends me anything that they need me to do something, I do it. I do it. I do it. I do it the best way I possibly can. I do it because I know when I need to go to my God, I need to go with clean hands, because my God answers me. My God responds to me. My God listens to me. Okay, so I have to make sure I am guiltless, blameless, and yep. God, so Sister Love says, God word shall not return void. There we go. You understand? Fret not thyself because of evildoers. Be not envious of the workers of iniquity. Don't watch people. Don't watch people. Whatever they want to do, that's okay. It's okay. You have no power over anyone. You can't change anyone. You can't change their mind. You're not going to make them into a better person. You're not going to make them eventually see. That's a God business. Okay? All you have to do is fight your fight. Work your work. Exercise your faith. Do the best that you can possibly do with what you have. Focus on your outcomes, not on what is happening now. Focus on your outcome. Yeah, okay, you see some things, but it's up to you to make sure that things don't rattle your cage. Nothing comes to you if the sea is rough, right? If you imagine you're at the dock and you're waiting for this big ship coming in with gold and pearls and silver, and your dreams are on this boat, and you're at this dock, and you can see the boat, and you're standing at the dock, and it's coming in, and all of a sudden somebody steps on your toe And if you react, you change the sea. You make the sea get rough. And all of a sudden, your big boat that you had coming into you sink to the bottom of the sea because you react to something that they want to do. Somebody made you so upset that you changed the tide of the sea. And now your boat sailed past you. If it didn't sink, it sailed past you and sailed on to calmer waters. You can't afford none of that. Okay, some of you are too powerful to have enemies that are not valuable. Okay, some of you are too powerful. You have so much, you have a big calling on your life, you have a blessing on your life. You have wonderful things happening for you. Brilliant things are coming for you. Yet you have these little people who want to bite and nip at your ankles like like a mouse trying to eat an elephant. And you, the elephant, you're going to stand there and stomp around, not realizing you're creating an earthquake that's going to take you down into the ground. You can't afford these little people. You cannot afford them. Okay, let them go bite somewhere. Act like you don't see. Jamaican people say, seeing blind, hearing deaf. Okay, act like you don't even see. Act like you don't even hear. Just keep moving, doing what you have to do. Keep calm, carry on, relax, do what you need to do, work your plan, stay focused, exercise your faith, do small acts of faith. If you have what you need to do is 1 million and you only have $10 and you go, well, how am I going to do this? I only have $10. Go buy the smallest thing that you can afford that has to do with your plan. If you wanted to build a house and you can't afford to build that house, but you can afford to buy a box of nails, go and buy the box of nails. Use the box of nails as a doorstop. Use the box of nails in your house because it's going to come to you each and every single time you need to do something. You're going to say to yourself, why do I have this box of nails in the house? Oh, that's for building my house. Exercise faith into the smallest way you possibly can. Do something in any way you possibly can towards accomplishing the things that you need to accomplish. Do not sit with the ideas in your head. Okay? Do not sit with any ideas in your head. If you had an idea, which is an imagination, which is a vision directly from God, if you have this thing in your mind to do, by all means, find a way to do it. Okay, now I'm not for self-sacrificing and hurting yourself and doing all of that stuff, but find a way to do it because it doesn't happen unless you make it happen. Okay, I remember when I came, I was 19 or 20, and I wanted to go to college. When I came from Jamaica, I wanted to go to college. And, they're like, well, you had to sit the SAT, you had to do this, you had to do that. So I'm like, okay, I don't know any of that stuff about sitting the SAT, but the time had passed for the SAT. So this was when I was, but now we're talking about like what, August, September. So now it was time to go to school. So I chose a school that I wanted to go. I needed a school that was in Westchester County, that was close to my home, that had the curriculum of a particular program that I wanted to study. No other schools in New York City had that curriculum at that time. So I went to this school and I said, I would like to enroll in this program. And I'm like, well, how do I do that? I just went to the school. They said, oh, you just sit an exam. I'm like, sit an exam? What about the SAT? And what about, all of this other stuff that they say I need? Do you have your paperwork from Jamaica? Yep, I do. Okay, great. what about the entrance? So they said, well, if you can pass the entrance exam, you're in. I'm like, well, when do I take it? Is it like a schedule? So I'm coming from Jamaica where to do an exam is like a big brouhaha. When do I take the exam? They said, you could do it now. Now? Are you ready? So I took the exam. I got in. Okay. So all of this thing that was so huge and big, how am I going to do? How am I going to do? I just went to the school to get information. I could have called, but I wanted to go. I wanted to go to see the place, to speak to someone, to get a brochure, to get some information, to understand how it worked. So when I got in, when I passed the exam, and then we went through the financial aid situation, and I actually, based on the town that I lived in, I picked up scholarships every single semester. I did not have a scholarship to go to school. But when I went home with this acceptance letter and I said, Mom, look, I got in. How are you going to get to school? Because you need money. You're going to need money for transportation. You're going to need money for this. You're going to need money for that. I don't know. The same way that you didn't know where you were going to get money from to feed me and clothe me, and God provided every day, I'm sure God will also provide, and he sure did. So this is what I'm saying is, you might see the obstacle. Don't let the obstacle stop you. If you look at your problems day by day, like, okay, today, what can I do today with what I have? This I have to do. I have to get from this part of New York to this part of New York to do school. This I have to do. I picked up a job. I picked up a job in the county that I needed to go to school in. So I was able to commute from my job to school, to make to home and back again. So this is what I'm saying is, you have to exercise your faith. You have to find a way to make it work. How many people are sitting like, nobody helped me. I couldn't go to school, or I couldn't go back to school because nobody helped me. You got to help yourself. You got to help yourself. You got to figure out your way to do small things. If you have a large problem, break it down into small pieces. How can I do this day by day? And that is exactly how this house was constructed. That is exactly how I built this house, day by day. If somebody hands you an invoice, you need to have X amount of money to do this. That's what I have. I have right here in front of me invoices for some other projects that I want to start, that I need to start, that I must start, that has to start. If I cannot start these projects, I'm not going to be able to continue to do some of the things that I need to do. This, but, oh, I'm sorry, my big old finger is in the way. But, okay, I know I don't have that. I'll have it. But what can I do with this much? If I can do something with this much, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it until I get this far. And if I get this far, I'm going to go a little further. And when I get a little further, I'm going to go a little further. Until this big thing that is so expensive and obnoxious becomes complete. So you can either laugh at me because she's wearing these wigs and she go on camera with her head all tied up, and you can laugh at me, but better believe that no matter what you see Renee doing, Renee is always doing something. Renee is always up to something. I had a vision, I have a plan, I have a goal, I am working my plan, and I'm working my plan the best way that I possibly can with my own little energy and my own little power. And even that is enough for you to do something. You are more powerful than you know. You have everything that you possibly need to do the thing that you want to do. Decide it. Make a decision. Okay? And put yourself in the position where there's nowhere else to go but through this plan. You have to do that. When I left New York for Florida in the earlier part of this conversation, I said, I'm not moving back. Okay? I am leaving. It is not a go-see mission. I am gone. Excuse me. I applied. I saw the job online. I was looking for jobs. While I had a job online. I made a decision that this was the time to go. And I left. So that's for you to think on, make a decision, look at your plan, figure out how can you work your plan. Some of you want to move to Africa. Pick a place. If you Google or come on YouTube and put in the mansion in Mombasa, the mansion in Mombasa in YouTube, you're going to find a mansion in Mombasa, Kenya, of a video that I made in 2019. In August of 2019, there was a house that I loved. It was at the edge of the Indian Ocean. It had a lot of coconut trees. It had a big plot of land, and it was a big house with a small house attached. Now, before that house, I had no idea what I wanted. I had no idea what kind of house I wanted to live in. I never had an imagination like my house should look like this or my house should look like that. I couldn't picture what kind of house I wanted. I didn't want a house in America because I didn't want to live in America. And I didn't want necessarily a house in Jamaica that I had to build myself. I wanted to have a particular house, but I didn't know what house until I saw that house. That was like, I said, that's it. This is the dream house. This is the driveway I always wanted. This is the location I wanted. This is the color. This is the ironwork. This is everything I always wanted in a house. That's the house. And all the views on that video were me. Most of it is me. I would wake up every morning after I made that video, and I would watch that video to remind myself I'm moving to Kenya. This is the house I'm going to live in. This is what the house looks like. It's right on the Indian Ocean. I contacted the realtor. I started having a conversation with them in 2019. By August, almost to the day of 2020, I found this house. This where we are sitting now. And I tore out all of the windows and I made the ironworks almost exactly like that house. I made my own design to it. I turned these into, these look like bees if you look like them carefully. One would look like a bee and together they look like two peacocks. So I designed it, but I was creative and I used that house as a template. and I redesigned every single thing I wanted in this house to replicate that house. The land size on this land is the exact size on that land. The only difference between this house and that house in Mombasa is this house is closer to the sea and the land is on the street side, is on the opposite side. In the house in Kenya, the house is closer to the street and the sea is the land is closer to the front. That's the difference. So how could I come and see for myself something that I had imagined and envisioned in my mind and go, oh no, I don't want that. It's going to be too much work. No, I decided that I was going to take the house. I signed the lease and there is a guest house on the property. I said, that's what I'm going to do construction on. It's a small enough house. It goes with my budget. I could just finish that. I could be done with that in no time. Number one, there was a tenant in the house, so I couldn't get on it right away. And number two, not this house, the guest house. There was a tenant in the guest house, so I couldn't start working right away. And then number two was that house, I would have to knock it down completely. I would have to completely demolish that house and build it again. I'm like, no, I don't think I want to do that. Then I said, okay, I'm going to start the kitchen. And that's when you people see the house. This house is when I started the construction. I started the kitchen. You guys saw when the work was happening. So I decided that okay, the kitchen is small enough. I'm going to knock it out. I'm going to just get that going. And I got that out. And then I said, okay, if I can do the kitchen, I don't want these men to leave. Let me move on to the next 3 windows and the next 3 windows and the next 3 windows. And that's how we started. Just exercising faith in small things, small things, small things. Day by day, everything will make its way to you when you start working towards something. Okay? Work towards it. Don't have an idea. Don't have a plan. Don't have a guesstimation. Know exactly what you're going to do. Like I said, I always do a PowerPoint or a video or something that I want. Or even a website. If I can see that thing and I can put it in my mind repeatedly, I am going to start acting towards it. Now, I don't know if everyone is like that, but that's how I am. I cannot sit with an idea and go, well, that's a great idea. I'll just sit here and pick my teeth and see what happens after that. No, 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 no. Don't you dare do that. Don't you dare leave anything for the graveyard. Don't take anything down in that hole with you. When you go, let them come and cry over a casket. Okay? All of your dreams should be out. People should be going, oh yeah, he built that and he did this and oh, look at what else he did. Okay? Don't just take all of your ideas down into that hole with you. At least one of them is going to pan out. Keep going no matter what. No matter what, because nothing, no obstacle can compete with your imagination. Reality will set in and catch up with you, but it cannot compete with you. It cannot compete with you. Do you ever look at some things and go, how did they do that? They did it because they didn't give up. Okay? So don't give up. Fight your fight. It's now 3:15. I think I got 2 hours. I can get a nap in before it's time for JoJo. But I wanted to share that message with you. Those of you who are looking at making a plan, doing something, having a goal, having a dream, working towards something, whatever it is that you're looking to do, whether that is coming to Africa. Coming to Africa is the beginning of the story. It is not the end. When you people come to Africa, you have to understand that there is a genetical plea. There is a genetical cry that is inside of your bloodstream, that your ancestors, whoever they are, wanted to come back home. They needed to get away from the tyranny. They needed to get away from the society. They needed to get away from the systems that were designed against them. They did not want to stay there. They did not want to live there. They did not want to be there. And this is why you are not happy there. And some of you will not be happy until you get away from there. So when you do, think this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of the story, because all of those powers, all of those ancestors, they're going to come out. They want to come out. They want to interact. They want to live. They want to see. They want to enjoy. They want to be a part of the culture. They want to, you are the one who makes the decision about how little or how much you want to do when you get here. Okay? Thank you, Sister Lux. Yeah. So you people who are looking to come here, you are the ones who are going to make the decision about what you want to do. You women, you are forming the nation of the future. You women who are coming here with your children, you are forming the future. A generation is going to rise up and they're going to speak differently, think differently, act differently, behave differently, do differently, create differently, manifest differently, and they are going to be the generals, the leaders, the presidents, the senators, the governors, the rulers of tomorrow. So make a decision with your procreation choices. Make a decision about what you want. If you didn't like what was meted out to you, why do you think your children are going to fare any better in that society? If you had to go through hell and high water just to make it to level 1, why do you think your children is not going to endure the same things? And then the other thing about that is the natural environment and the natural surroundings. So in the United States, you all get, well, in the eastern part, northeastern parts, we get sunshine probably 3 months out of the year. The rest of the time, 9 months, your kid is locked up inside, playing video games, not exercising their ability to climb, to dig in the dirt, to find an earthworm, to climb a tree, to jump off a branch, to chase the dog, to exercise themselves psychologically and emotionally. They want robots that sit in a classroom from 8 a.m. all the way to 3 p.m. and come home and then cooped up in the house with nothing but Disney and, you know, and just this unnatural, unhealthy life that is not fruitful or beneficial to them. Some people are trying to make the change with their children already 17, 18. You can't change your minds now. They think America is it. They think America is the beginning and the end. While you're at work trying to give them a better structure and a better social structure, they think that that's the vibe. If you want your children to understand themselves and know who they are and be ready to accept your philosophies on Africa, and loving Africa and loving themselves and identity and a brighter future, this is the time to remove those kids out of that culture so that you can have them to shape them and mold them into who they should become. And yes, I'm talking to you single mothers too. Barack his mama was a single mother. She picked up herself and went all the way to Indonesia. She looked at her baby and go, well, you can kind of be Indonesian. You look or you look Filipino. You look a little mixed. You don't have to be half and half where white people are going to treat you bad and black people are going to treat you worse. I can take you up on out of here and give you a whole new mindset and shape you for who you can become in the future. So you women who are talking about, you want to have children or whatever, there are African men here. You want to be wives, you want to be taken care of, you want African men, you want providers. African men are here. Don't follow me in my example. Okay, I like being single, but African men are here. They're African men who are looking for good wives. If you're a good, intelligent woman, look for a good, intelligent African man. Raise your children in Africa. Have your children in Africa. Teach them right from wrong in Africa. Let them know what the sun is supposed to look like. My child can tell the time of the day without going outside. She can wake up and tell me it is only 8 o'clock. She can tell me it's 10 o'clock. She can tell me when it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock simply by the shadow, the way the shadows fall on the trees. And that is a natural part of humanity. Children should know what soil feels like under their feet. They should know what dirt feels like under their fingernails. They should be able to think for themselves how to do things and get things done. They should be able to make a toy from a stick. They should be able to exercise some kind of ideas in their natural environment. They should be able to walk outside and pick a mango off of the tree. That is how it's supposed to be. Okay? Not raising kids in fluorescent lighting, locked up in everything so sanitary and clean, looking like a prison. And then when they end up doing something that they were never presented with as like this can potentially end your life, and they end up in an institution that looks just like a prison. School to prison pipeline is a real thing. There are many books on it. How the school system is designed to institutionalize children and get them acclimated to institution. But you all want to sit there and play games with the future. Y'all want to sit there and play games with your kids. Okay? But know yourself first. Use your imagination. Design your life the way you want it. Look at your lifestyle, how you want to live it. What kind of mom or dad do you want to be? What kind of parent do you want to be? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have? You have to think of your lifestyle as well. I worked in Dubai. I could never in a million years imagine raising a child in Deso. Glass and concrete and steel and sun. Who? Why? How? That doesn't speak to me. Maybe it speaks to some of you, but it couldn't be me. Okay? Some of y'all lifestyle, you like the urban life of living in New York. Okay, great. But that could not be me. But I think a lot of people don't know otherwise. A lot of people don't know elsewhere that there is a whole other world out there. So anyway, look at things, use your imagination, get an idea of what exactly that you are looking to do. Okay. I'm going to start doing the workshops again on Sunday. It's called the Anywhere in Africa workshop. I'm going to send my email here. Let me see. It's exodusafrica1@gmail.com. So it's about your mindset and your skill set. Okay. And now in this time of rapid competition, where everybody can do anything, where everybody knows how to do this and how to do that. Yeah, everybody knows, but can everybody execute? No. That is the truth. Not everyone can execute. And when people, you can do it, but can you maintain it? Can you keep it going? Do you know how to keep something going? Okay, so communicate with me. You're thinking of Africa, or you're thinking about life, or you're thinking of Australia. I made it an Anywhere in Africa but workshop, but this is something that anyone anywhere can do to apply for themselves, their own self-determination. I went through some of it here. You have to have a vision in your mind. Okay? You have to have a vision in your mind of what you want, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and you have to have that strength of communication with your God to know when to do it. Okay? Because you could have done many things at the wrong time and not have success. But that's not what we're after. So timing is everything. You through these workshops, I also gauge how to determine when is the right time. Okay, and it would rather be reactionary, rather be proactive than reactionary. So in your downtimes, in your times when you're just trying to stay focused on your goal, be proactive. Make your plans, make your ideas, spend quiet time with yourself and think on what can I possibly do? Think on those things. What suits my lifestyle? I love to travel. Maybe you love to travel, and what you need to do is do something that is that works around that. Okay? So there are many things that you can do, but let's have a conversation. Communicate with me. The workshop is called the Anywhere in Africa workshop. I will be hosting again on Sunday. The time is to be determined. Please email me. Some people missed the one that I had a couple of months ago, but I did say that I would get busy again, and I didn't know when I would be able to do those workshops. And lo and behold, I did get super busy. So I'm back again offering the workshop. A lot of people get a lot of things from it. And I also do one-on-one consultancies. So if you are looking to get some knowledge, some insight, some know-how on what you need to do next, or how you need to do it to make that leap from wherever onto the continent, communicate with me. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Gotta go. Bye-bye.